This is the last interview ever.
We have to talk about your iconic jump roping.
Oh my God. No, let's talk about that. The whole crowd went, wow.
Peligrosa at Rumble.
Dream to work with that girl. My purpose wasn't to walk around in skimpy clothes for men to salivate. That's not my purpose.
Welcome, baby, to Ring the Belle. This is DS and Peligrosa. We're here with Rosa Mendes.
Hi, everybody. I made it finally. I'm so sorry. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yes, I'm a full-time student, single mother. If I have free time, I'm doing my homework or hanging out with Jordan. I'm so sorry.
No.
My deepest apologies that this took so long.
No, this is great. You're loving your life.
Yes, I am.
You're having a great life. You look great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel really, really good.
Yeah, I feel like you're so happy. So this is a great time.
Very fulfilled.
And we're going to talk about it a little later, but this is your last wrestling appearance.
Yeah, and this is my last interview unless someone else comes today. This is the last interview ever.
Wow. Okay, so I caught you in a great time.
Yeah.
I got so many questions from fans asking you about some of the stuff they love from your career.
Okay.
Some of the stuff that needs some clarification.
Okay.
So let's go right into it.
All right, sure.
A lot of casual fans don't know about this, but you've been in developmental for 4 years, OVW and FCW.
Yes, so I did almost 2 years at OVW, where all the stars are made. And then I went to Tampa for a year and a half, but stayed there to like brush up on my skills while I was doing TV because I was valeting. So I was there a total of 4 years in developmental.
I mean, a lot of people think that you just waltzed into Diva Search and then became a wrestler, but you paid your dues.
You know what? When we started training, the girls were setting up the ring like the guys. I set up those boards under the ring in the rain, in the snow. It wasn't like the state-of-the-art facility that they have right now. It was nothing like that. We drove from town to town, wrestled in front of 50 to 30 people sometimes. But the best part was watching towns that we would have like 10 to 15 people and watching them grow. Every time we came back, like we had a storyline, right, for these shows, and these crowds would start growing and growing. So like we were happy to see that, you know?
Oh wait, let me. So sorry. I should introduce Barbie too.
Oh yeah, Barbie. Barbie's taking care of me today. She's been so wonderful. I told her it's one of my favorite names because we know why we love the name Barbie. We love Barbie. I miss you. If you're watching, I have a nickname for her, but I won't say it right here because it's a weird nickname. So.
Now I want to know.
It's between the locker room and the girls that are watching. You guys know.
So I heard you were also roommate with Maryse.
Yes, when we first started, I rolled in from Vegas. She rolled in from Montreal. She was on the cover of Playboy. I was like modeling all over the world. We walked into OVW, Louisville, Kentucky, like. Yeah, okay. And then we get there and like nobody really, I don't know, they weren't really fond of us.
Oh.
They liked Maryse because she was more of like, at the time, a little quieter, but I was a loudmouth because she didn't know how to speak English. But I was a loudmouth, and I didn't know that you had to like respect certain people, and you know, obviously you respect everyone, but there's certain things that you do in wrestling before you start to be loud and voice your opinions. So I was very, what you would call, disrespectful. When I first came there because I didn't think before I spoke. I would just say it, and I disrespected a very important, very, very, very well-respected wrestler. And I didn't know because I didn't watch wrestling really. So I didn't know exactly. And I had so much heat. I was on fire. And so like they would prank me. They would put my boots over the pipes before I would come out, so I would have to like come out with like
Flippers.
just tights on, like the tights, no shoes, and they would put mustaches on my posters. They ribbed me so much, and but they loved it because I would react.
I think also fans loved you because of that, because you were kind of rough around the edges. You're spunky. Like they connected with you because of that.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm saved. So like, I just remember those days as being like, oof, yeah.
So let's talk about you on Raw. So you debuted, very interesting character, as Beth Phoenix's Super Fan, and then you became an intern of Marella.
Yeah.
Tell us about how that all came about.
It was like I was waiting for so long to get on TV. Beth was the one that picked us up, me and Maryse up, and kind of like showed us around and helped us. And like she was really good to us. Like she would like kind of like give us the ins and outs of how to act and stuff backstage and in the locker room. And she was really, I loved her. And I would like follow her around like little puppy dog because I was like scared because everyone hated me. So I'm like, what do I do next? But she was really good to us because we were like really tight. I'm like, well, why don't we come up with this idea, you know? And then one of our friends, Timmy Baltimore, giving him props, he's like, why don't you be in the audience? That would be a way to like debut.
Right.
And I would be like, that's brilliant. I talked to the writers and I pitched it and they loved it. And then, I mean, jumping on Milena over the railing to debut.
So iconic.
Yeah. And she's awesome. And it was such an amazing experience. Like, I'll never forget that debut. And then also, after that, I dressed up as a photographer.
Right.
And I attacked her. Like, it was like the best way to debut, I feel like.
It was such a great storyline. I feel like we were robbed of like some like the payoff.
Yeah.
Was there any plans for that?
Well, there was, but it kind of like fell through.
What was your original plan? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, you know, I will give you some inside information.
Yeah.
Santino was so funny that he would try and make Beth and I pop before, like while we're on stage. So he would say things while we're in the ring and while we have to be all like serious. And he would say things and we're like, I did everything in me. Please don't laugh because I feel like cry, you know, the cry laughter. And I have a cackle. I don't know if you guys know this, but when I laugh, I can't stop laughing and it's super loud. So like it was I was like, please, like, Santino, please stop. I was like, and my hair would be here. I'm like, just be quiet. I can't handle this. He's so funny.
Speaking of Beth Phoenix, I have to bring up that match on Superstars where Beth got injured, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Was that real? Like, what was the situation?
That was real.
Okay.
So it's crazy with like, because I tore my ACL too. With those kind of injuries, something happens and it's like your body is just not like, it just tweaks in a certain way that you don't expect. Like you expect to have injuries where something really cool happens and then you get injured. But the craziest injuries happen during like just a jump or a weird fall, or she did that up and over and then landed a little off and then tore her ACL. It was so devastating because like I had to, luckily they taught us what to do if that happens.
Oh, okay.
So I reacted and just, it was, I feel like I did a great job.
You did, yeah. And I love the promo you did before too.
Adios, Glamazon.
It was on in Spanish as Glamazon.
I know, that was going to go somewhere. I'm like, that was going to go somewhere.
Stop.
I know.
Well, speaking of jumping, we have to talk about your iconic jump roping.
Oh my God. Where was that going? I was like, I had this idea. I'm like, well, why don't I try and get into Lay Cool, which that's what I was trying to do.
Peligrosa.
Yeah.
Peligrosa.
Lay Cool. I was trying to be into Lay Cool, and I was trying to train to be in their group. And they're like, okay, so you'll train. And then they're like, well, we don't know if that's going to work. So then I'm like, so what? I'm training backstage for no reason? But they're like, you're getting TV time.
Yeah.
But still, at the end, there was no payoff.
Yeah.
So like,
Slammy.
I was just... Yeah, but for what? You know what I mean? Like, that was just degrading. We all know that. Like, I look back at that and that wasn't good for, like, a female represented as an athlete.
Right.
It was very distasteful and rude.
Oh, okay.
I'm not mad at you.
Oh,
I'm mad
yeah.
at the people that wrote that because that's not cool.
But every time I do jump ropes, I think of you.
Oh, the jump rope is fine, but it was the Slammy.
Yeah, Slammy, got it.
I really didn't like that, and I wish that it's one of those things, but you know what? You live, you learn, and your challenges, you grow from your challenges.
Another iconic moment that I have to bring up is you weren't even technically in the match. It was Milena versus Michelle McCool title unification match.
Yeah.
Let me show you the clip.
Oh, gosh. Do I remember this match?
Okay, so there are two different moments. So this.
Their job is to get the combatants. Oh!
Okay, what was the slap all about? It was so random.
Oh, yeah, maybe she just slapped me for no reason. Oh, yeah.
It's like just you. I don't know.
I don't know why they added that. That's really weird. I forgot about that moment.
But more iconic moment is...
Oh.
What do you, Kay? Look at this. Front row seat.
Do you remember what Julian
She
told?
said, don't hit me. Oh. And then I got in trouble.
Wait, for this spot?
Yeah.
Why?
She was like, not now.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay. But then they're like, you should have just hit her anyways. And I was like, okay. And then I'm like, hey, can you just like cut that out in the tapes? They're like, it was live. I'm like, yeah, but in the tapes at least. Maybe some people won't watch it.
People love it.
That was horrific. And then I went on Twitter and everyone's like, oh, I can't believe Rosa did. I'm like, you're not in the match. You don't know what's
going
on.
Right.
This is all scripted, okay? And things get like turned around and things happen. Like when you see something botched or something weird, it's because like something is going on that's not supposed to happen.
Right.
As wrestling fans, you guys should know this, you know?
I hate to ask this.
Oh,
this is the last one. I'm sorry. This is the last one.
I'm scared.
Because people bring it up all the time.
Okay.
The mooning.
Oh, no, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So, like, I did not know that was going to happen. I had taped, we all tape our stuff, and it's, like, very well taped. This is with toupee tape, by the way. And because it sticks, you know, and we want to make sure our gear stays on.
Right.
And when you pull someone, you're supposed to pull
out.
Nah. But I felt so bad because she got in a lot of trouble.
Oh.
I didn't think she meant you're in a match, your heart is racing, there's a crowd, adrenaline. So I'll tell you a funny inside thing. I was like, wow, my bump must have looked so good because the whole crowd went, wow.
This is a good. Oh, look at Layla.
And I was like, look at that pop. And then I didn't know what happened. So I get in the back and like Triple H and like Mark Carano and like everyone looks like red and angry. So I just start like, because I've never seen them that angry before. So I just start crying like right when I get back. Because I think that they had thought that we had planned it.
Okay.
Because I think that is a planned kind of thing in certain matches in the indies or whatever, where it's like a spot.
Yeah.
But this was not planned. And so she got yelled at, I got yelled at, but I'm like, literally, I did not know. And then she got really yelled at.
Oh, no.
And then so I said, listen, like we didn't plan this. And then it was all taken care of after. But
Total Divas producers probably loved it, though.
yeah, and then we did a story about it after. And then we did a weird, like, scene on Total Divas that was really weird.
Okay, so let's move away from this moment. But the stuff that fans loved. Your stable with Tamina and Alicia Fox, the underrated queens.
Oh, I like that. I love working with. I loved being a heel because I feel like I'm like a super nice person in real life, and to get into a character, it's kind of an escape from reality because I lived a dream. Like I had my dream job, and I loved performing, and those 15 minutes that I performed, like 10 minutes, it was an escape from reality, you know? But inside real life, I was really hurting.
Oh.
And so being a heel, being a different character was an escape from how I was feeling within.
Yeah.
And it was a really hard time. So I feel like in entertainment, people see us and they're like, oh, they have the best lives. But like to be on TV, to keep up, to get a spot that you want, it makes you think that it's you.
Okay.
Like you're not getting the spot because you're not good enough.
Yeah.
And that does something to you, and it's really, really tough. Taking care of your body, your face, injecting with every wrinkle, like that life. It's just really hard. So I love being here. It was so much fun just to walk out and just like, you know, make those faces and yell, and it was an escape.
And a lot of the fans chose their favorite match of you in WWE career, and it was Superstars match against Naomi.
She is a dream to work with, that girl. What makes her good is that she's a giver. Like, I feel like some matches, people want to beat you up, and I always agree with everything because I'm like super nice and I'm like, who cares? You know, whatever. I love being just out performing. But like, she knew that she would get more over if she gave me something.
Okay.
So if I hit her back a little bit, if I made the match look close, it would put her over.
Right.
And I think a lot of wrestlers, they think, okay, so I'm just going to beat this person up and I'm going to look really tough. Well, but you beat up somebody that's not even like strong. But if you beat up somebody that looks strong, for all you workers out there, that makes you look tougher. So give.
Right.
If you're a baby face, let the heel do like really crappy things to you so you can look awesome and be the hero at the end.
Yeah.
It's hero versus villain.
You're right.
You know?
You're right.
So.
And you've also worked with like some Naomi, Caitlyn, AJ in FCW too, right?
Yes.
How was that like?
It's okay. Naomi, I loved working with Naomi.
I mean, from previous interview, I've heard about AJ.
Yeah, she's a great character.
Yeah.
I have so much respect for her. You know, she's smaller.
Yeah.
But she worked her butt off.
Yeah.
And she made herself look very tough. But I always told her to her face, I hate working with you right now. But she respected it.
Right.
She was like, I respect that. At least you don't talk behind my back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Peligrosa. Your theme song. People love it. Ay, papi. Was that your voice?
Ay, papi.
Yeah. And it sounded really weird. I was like, The thing is, I'm Canadian. My mom is Costa Rican. I wish, well, I'm not going to take back time and turn back time. But, like, I wish I could have been, like, kind of who I was. Like, your personality times 100.
Yeah.
Not this Canadian that's trying to be Spanish that has a horrible accent that every Latino was like, she doesn't sound Latino. You know what I mean? Like, we made it work for Epico and Primo because I had them, and they're really, like, Puerto Rican. But, like, for me, Spanish was my first language, but then I stopped speaking it at 3 years old. So, like, I had this Canadian accent. So it was like really not me. I mean, the feisty, that fun stuff was fun, but like the whole like Spanish theme, I listened to techno back in the day. You know what I mean? I'm like, can we just come out with like dun dun? And like I would have loved like Naomi's like gimmick because that's more me, like the neon and the boom boom. Back in the day, not anymore. We listen to Christian techno.
Church choir, hallelujah.
No, but techno too. They have techno and rap, Christian rap.
Really?
The thing is, people are like, Christian music is very la la. It's not. I mean, there are some songs and some hymns that are beautiful and old school, but there's also rap songs, techno songs, electronica with amazing beats.
I was in a church choir, so like, I kind of.
Oh wow!
But
really?
I didn't know about the techno.
Oh, I'll show you my playlist. It is so good.
Your finisher. I think a lot of people are really sad that they didn't get to see a lot of your finisher, but it was a side scoop slam, right?
Well, no, I had another finisher that was like I actually did it finally and won a match.
Oh.
No,
in MCW.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that finisher.
I know.
Oh, look at this. Oh!
It's hard because I never got to really do much in WWE, but at the same time, like I didn't fight for it. Like I was just, I loved being there. I loved wrestling, and I was like, I just agreed with everything, you know. But I do have some regrets over that. But at the same time, I mean, I had a 12-year career, so I did something right.
Let's talk about that because you've been in WWE for 12 years.
Yeah.
What do you think is behind that longevity?
I think it's not having drama with anyone. I feel like I did have, I mean, in one situation in 12 years, I didn't bury anybody ever. I just like loved being like in the locker room, and I loved the roster. It was like we're like this big family, and like even the truck drivers, like everybody, every certain person on the road, like we were like a big family.
Yeah.
So leaving was really hard because it was my family for like so long, since 2008. It was really hard to let go of. Like the catering people, like I missed all of them. It's like it was wonderful. The only part was the fame part, and trying to keep up.
Yeah.
And trying to stay in the company.
Right.
Because people get fired all the time.
I want to briefly talk about your iconic run on Total Divas. I think that's when a lot of people fell in love with you because they got to see you and they got to learn more about you. How did you get on the show?
I was so annoying. I literally wrote to everyone. I'm like, I need to get on the show. I have to get on the show. So I emailed like every producer, every single writer. Like I was so annoying. And I was like, I need to get on the show. Because I love that. That was my dream, is to have a reality TV show. I'm like, if I just get this, I'll be happy. And I got it. I mean, I was happy for the time being, but then it's still like when you have a dream like that, it still runs out of its wow, I got it, and it wasn't as fulfilling as I thought it would be, but it was really fun.
Speaking of fun moments, how was it like to be in between Natty and Summer?
Oh, it was really funny. It was so funny because it was like they were friends, but they kind of weren't friends. And it was like they would be really annoyed with each other, but they liked each other. Some of the things that they would say to one another were really mean but funny. And you don't want to laugh because that's like rude because your friend is getting made fun of. But it's hilarious. I mean, Natty and they're both hilarious. Yeah. They brought the morale in the locker room so high because they were so like happy and fun. They were not like, I'm sorry, I'm this. Like, not that some of the girls did that, but like not like coming in and being like, They were always like stoked, you know what I mean? And happy. Yeah.
I love that. I know that you don't want to talk about it.
Oh gosh.
But Paige.
Pass. I love Saraya. She's like a sister to me. No, I love the fact that I can look back in these moments and I'm saved now. It's like I'm a new person.
You're a new person.
And it's like all those mistakes and like lostness and depression, it's redeemed. I'm redeemed by Christ, and it was all for a reason. I would totally do it over again. If I had the opportunity, I wouldn't say, oh, I wish I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I didn't do that. All that paved the way for where I am right now.
Right.
You
So
know?
let's talk about where you're at right now. So where are you with pro wrestling? This is your last wrestling appearance.
Yes, and I'm not signing any more memorabilia wrestling related because this is a new chapter. I'm studying Christian ministry. My purpose wasn't to walk around in skimpy clothes and shake my rear end for men to salivate. That's not my purpose.
Yeah.
My purpose is to make a difference in someone's life and for God to use me for the greater good, you know, and make someone feel worthy and happy and joyful.
What do you think was the biggest difference between your WWE days to now?
If you want to know what happened, do you want to know how it happened?
Yeah.
I just had like this moment. I had my business. From the outside in, it looked like I had everything.
Yeah.
I was already retired at the time, but I had like literally from the outside in, it looked like I had the life. Like people at Starbucks would be like, "You just have the best life," and I'm like, little do they know. So Jordan was at her grandparents' house. And I had this moment where I was washing my face and I looked in the mirror and I just started like crying. Oh. And I was like, I worked so hard my whole entire life to have all of this big house, nice cars, fame, status, all these friends. But I was like empty and it was like there was nothing there. So I was going to church at the time, and at my church, they were doing the book of Job. I don't know if any of you know the book of Job, but it's where this faithful man, he just loses everything. He loses his children, he loses his house, he loses everything, and he doesn't stop loving Jesus, God. He was really faithful to God. I had this very selfless moment. Jordan wasn't there. I was alone, and I just started crying and crying. And I'm like, God, I know you're out there, and I don't want to be apart from you because I don't want to feel like this. And I know you can fill this hole in my heart. Take whatever you need to take away, my house, my car, my money, my everything, but just don't take away my daughter like Job, his kids were, taken away.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Within 24 hours of this prayer, my Instagram got hacked.
I remember when that happened, yeah.
I get a letter in the mail from the IRS. I hadn't finished my taxes properly. We're foreclosing your house. This is after this prayer.
Oh my God.
All these things started happening that I said to take away.
Okay.
Friends started falling off. Of course, I always believed in God, but he never showed himself to me. And at that moment, he showed himself. I sold my Rolex. I got a cross. And I'm like, I'm giving my life to Christ. Everything that defined me, I'm getting rid of. Okay. I love handbags. I still do. They're beautiful, but they define me. So I sold all of them.
Oh, wow.
Sold all of them. Sold all of the high heels and all that stuff. All the designer stuff. Got rid of everything.
Wow.
Started going to church, surrounding myself with other Christians, talking to non-believers about God, and I was, for the first time, even though I was losing all this stuff, I was happy. And my mom is like, are you okay? And I'm like, Mom, I know God is with me right now and I know everything's going to be okay. It's just been, just the best, just so fulfilling. Like my life has meaning now.
Got it.
And I just want to spread his word,
You're radiating with happiness
I
right
am.
now.
I am.
Like I can feel the energy from you. I love that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And like I said before, it's not always rainbows and unicorns. Like it's not always going to be joyous.
Right.
I do suffer sometimes, but I get through it and I endure and I'm okay.
I have to ask this question because fans would murder me. Peligrosa at Rumble. Would that ever happen?
Okay, so I said that I wasn't going to do it, and then I thought about it. But you know what? I would do it for charity. Like if I would do it if Vince or WWE offered me this like really good amount and give it to a charity of my choice for a good cause, and I would do it for that.
I love that.
Yeah, and I'd give that whole check to them.
Thank you so much for giving me this time. Your last interview.
I know, it's so cool.
What would you say to the fans that love you, that love Rosa Mendes, that loves Peligrosa?
You know what? I gotta say this, and this is really super important. My lowest times when I was the saddest and just going through some rough times, I would get those messages from some of you. I would see those encouraging comments, and I'm telling you that made a difference. Your support meant everything to me at those dark moments, because there was some moments where people were saying things online that weren't true about me. Like, there's total lies on dirt sheets, and they knew it wasn't true, and they would support me. So all the supportive comments, all of the serious diehard Peligrosa fans, I love you, and you mean so much to me. And thank you for pulling me out of those sad moments, because it made a difference.